It's time for the North Carolina Vinyl Picker Show, brought to you by, yes, Great Britain. And I'm going to sit here. We'll chat a minute. It's a beautiful day here in North Carolina. Temperature's around 65 degrees, and the leaves are falling, and it's just beautiful. So I figure I'll just go ahead and do the show out here. And if you stay tuned at the end of the show, you will see my top 5 Genesis albums. Last week we started off with a top 10, and I did 10 through 6 last week. So this week I'm going to expose my top 5 at the end of the show. I want to thank all my new subscribers because I'm over 850. That is crazy. I'm appreciative of every one of those. I get about 150 views, 170 views on every show. So, I mean, I'm just tickled pink that I got 150 people watching my little show. That's just wonderful. So, yep, Thanksgiving is coming, fast approaching, and I want to thank everybody out there for subbing me up and getting me to that 850. I was hoping to get to 1,000 by Christmas, but that's probably not going to happen. But that's okay. Baby steps. Also, I finished up my project on my record bin, and I'll show a picture of that I'll be doing a short, and that short will be an Instagram, but I'll also put it on YouTube as a short. And yeah, I finished it up. All I need to do is stain it. So let's run through some of the stuff I picked up this week. I didn't go out thrifting this week or go to record stores. I'm taking 1 month off from that. So I'll be buying records as I sell them in my store, and then I'll be using that money in PayPal to go ahead and get some things that I actually want, because the big record show is December the 9th, and that's in Charlotte. So that's coming up pretty quick. So I'm saving my money for that. This nectar thing came up. It's a promo, and some people say they've never even seen this nectar before. But it's a promo, and it says special banded version of for radio stations only. And that's pretty cool. Everybody can see that. That's Remember the Future. I picked that up this week. These are all from Discogs or off of eBay. So the next thing I want to show you is King Crimson, Sleepless. This is an EP that came from the album 3 of a Perfect Pair with Mr. Fripp and Company. And I seen that line up on the Discipline tour. Then I saw him on Thrax too, but it was a little bit different lineup on the Thrax tour. And then I picked up this one here. I only have a couple of the Patrick Moraz left to pick up. This one here is called Out in the Sun. And so I have about 2 more to get, and I'll have all of Patrick's solo stuff on vinyl that I want. This one here's there's a couple poppy songs, but for the most part, he's a lot of keyboards and stuff. I like Patrick Moraz's keyboards. This one here I picked up. This is Special Effects. This is a jazz outfit. They do a lot of really cool jazz. If you like, it's not the old-timey jazz. It's not like Coltrane or Miles or anything. But this is newer jazz. And this album actually came out in the 80s. And Mark Egan is in this band. I didn't know that Mark Egan was in Special Effects, but that's a really good band. If you like AOR jazz, some people call it that, like Yellow Jackets and the Ripping Tins, Special Effects. There's a bunch of them. I'm a fan of all of them. I like them all. And then Rob the Wax, he sent me this here. He came up on his vinyl sale. And Robert Fripp, God Save the Queen. This is a great album. Hope you can see these okay. God Save the Queen. And this is a really good album. I listened to it. It's definitely 80s. It's definitely got that 80s sound. And then there was another one I picked up. This one here, Greenslade. And David Greenslade, who was in Coliseum. And yeah, so Greenslade. This is a really cool album. I like it a lot. I like all his albums. This is his first album, and I found a promo online for like 20 bucks. So I saved up my coins and picked it up. Got a couple more here. Robert Fripp Exposure. Got this online as well. And this one here is really good. And again, it's got the North Star, the song he did with Daryl Hall, and it's got the song he did with Peter Gabriel, and it's just really, really cool. Some of the songs are definitely a little bit too far into the 80s groove for me, but overall it was a good listen. And Here Comes the Flood, that's the song he does with Gabriel. And it was on Gabriel's album that he was a guest star on Gabriel's album when it came out on his first album. And when I saw Gabriel after he left Genesis on the first tour, he did Here Comes the Flood. And Robert Fripp was actually on stage with Tony Levin on that tour. So that was really cool. And then at the end of the show, Gabriel did Back in New York City, and Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. That was pretty cool. And I got one more here. Phil Manzanera, 801. Phil Manzanera, of course, the guitarist for Roxy Music. He did a series of albums in the 80s, late 70s into the 80s, that are like jazz fusion, prog-ish. Really good albums. If you get a chance, check them out. Okay, now we're going to discuss this week here. I went into a deep dive on the nine albums that started the prog rock movement back in the 60s. Now these 9 that I'm going to show you are only from 67 to 69. So there's no albums in here from 70 because prog started in the 60s. So some say that Sgt. Pepper was the first prog album, but because it's a concept album and progressive rock tends to do that. Days of Future Past is more likely the first prog album. And so Days of Future Past, the Moody Blues, the consensus says that that's what it is, so that's what it is. And these came out in 67, as well as Keith Emerson and the Nice, the Emerald Dave Jack, the Thoughts of the Emerald List Dave Jack. This is a great album. It's getting dark here, so in the afternoon, hopefully you can see these. So this is a great album. It's the first album by the Nice, so if you get a chance, you can pick that one up. Okay, third one. Now we're getting into 68 and In Search of the Lost Chord, the Moody Blues. Yeah, these are the first 9. There's a few others that I saw. I've been researching this for about a week, and there's a few others that could fit in here and there. But these are like basically the first 9 prog albums. Shine On Brightly, Procol Harum. Shine On Brightly. Court of the Crimson King. Now we're getting into 69. Some people say this was the first prog album, Days of Future Past, and these here were before it. So there's lots of albums that were prog that was before this one. But I've heard people say, and people say a lot, I've heard people say that the Crimson King was the first one, but it's not. And then you got Tommy. Tommy, can you hear me? Yeah, there's Tommy. These are basically the first 9. Moody Blues, A Question of Balance. Procol Harum, A Salty Dog. Hey, that's me. That's me, it's me. To Our Children's Children, Moody Blues. See a pattern here? Moody Blues. Moody Blues was one of the very first prog groups, along with King Crimson. And then Yes came later, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and those bands, they came later. Camel, and some other, Van de Graaff, Generator, Coliseum. Coliseum would fit into this 9, but I don't have that album. The Valentine something or other. That's the one I bid on this week, but I didn't win it. So that's all I got for as far as that goes. And those are the first 9 records. Now at the end of the show, you're going to see, I'm going to tape it here just in a few minutes, those top 5 Genesis albums. Yeah, we're gonna do all those top 5. So everybody out there, have a good rest of your week. Like I say, this is the time to get with family and friends during the holidays. So be careful out there when you're out there drinking. Make sure you're not drinking and driving. You have a designated driver, and you don't need to hear that from me. But I'm going to tell you anyway. I'm the big chief. So we'll talk to you later. Support them troops out there, and I'm looking forward to seeing my daughter coming home for Christmas from the Navy. So, yeah, won't be long. Y'all be good out there, and we'll be talking to you soon. North Carolina vinyl picker. What do I always say? I'm out of here. North Carolina vinyl picker, and I'm back at it. I'm out here to look for these albums that are my top 5 Genesis albums, but I don't see them. I don't see any of them. Let's go out here and look. They're out here somewhere. Last week we found 5. So what are we looking for? Looking for number 5. Oh, I think I found one. I think I found number 5. North Carolina vinyl pickerback on the hunt, on the elusive hunt for number 5. I found this little tree that's trying to survive here. What was that? Something back there? No, ain't nothing back there. See you clear across the other side of the mountain. There's a big gorge down through there. Let's find number 5. There's number 5. The very first Genesis album, from Genesis to Revelation. Number 5. Could have been higher. I listen to this at least once a month. Love this album. Peter Gabriel's vocals, just superb. Just superb. Love it. I love Anthony Phillips. Oh, man. Anthony Phillips. He's the best. 12-string guitarist. Love it. Okay, where's number 4? Number 4 is here somewhere. Number 4. Here it is. Here's number 4. Selling England by the pound. Promo DJ copy. Sounds incredible. Don't need anything else. Definitely don't need those 75th anniversary expensive records. Not when I got this. This is where you want to be, right here. Either on a promo or you want to have a quad. I don't think this was ever released in quad, so promo it is. Coming in at number 4. There's only one, number 4. Selling England by the pound. All right, where's number 3? Man, we're getting down there now. We're down to just 3 left. Big Chief's top 3 Genesis albums. Oh, here's number 3. Yep, Trick of the Tail. This is what I got turned on to when I listened to Genesis. Actually, it was the next album, Wind and Wuthering. That was the album that I got turned on to. When I got into Genesis, that was the first album. Now, Trick of the Tail was before that, and The Lamb was before that. But The Lamb was actually the first album I heard. And then I went and seen Genesis. But I didn't see the Trick of the Tail tour. Would have loved to have seen it because, of course, that's where Bill Bruford was sitting in on drums. But I did not see it. I know some people that did, but the Big Chief did not see it. The North Carolina vinyl picker is looking for number 2. Can only be a number 2. Oh, there it is right here. Wind and Wuthering. Lovely album. Seen the tour twice. Saw it at the Garden, and then I saw the same the next night or a couple nights later. We went over to the Spectrum in Philly and seen it. And I can remember still seeing Phil up there on stage. Of course, the Seconds Out album is from this, from Wind and Wuthering. And I love Wind and Wuthering. This could have easily been number 1. but there's only going to be number one. And what album haven't we seen yet? Well, there was some throwaway albums I didn't use, and those were "We Can't Dance." I didn't use that one, and I didn't use "Invisible Touch." I didn't use that one, and there's a couple others that didn't make the grade. Oh, and then there were three. I don't think that made the cut. But let's go to number one. Let's wrap this thing up. I know you're all just dying to know what Big Chief's number one album is. Of course, it's Trespass. Yeah, it can only be one album, Trespass. Anthony Phillips. And this is a promo and an awesome album. And my favorite that I listen to at least every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. A little bit more than the rest of them. So, take care, everybody. We'll be talking to you soon. Bye for now.